As 2020, the sequel, comes to a close, Netflix once again delivers their spoof of the year's events in Death to 2021. Is this comedy special worthy of your time, though? Death to 2021 is a comedy event that tells the story of the dreadful year that was, and maybe still is. This landmark documentary-style special weaves together a chorus of narration from some of the world's most renowned voices, with real-life archival footage spanning the last 12 months. So I was a fan of the original spoof, Death to 2020, so I was pretty excited when this new iteration was announced. And we get several of the same returning experts, like Joe Keery, Samson Kayo, Kristen Milioti, Hugh Grant, and Diane Morgan. But we also get new insights from the likes of Tracy Ullman, Lucy Liu, William Jackson Harper, and Stockard Channing. We also have the return of sultry-voiced narrator Lawrence Fishburne to guide us through the crap show that was 2021. This episode starts out fairly strong and created quite a few laughs for me, and as to be expected, not only because Netflix is an American company, but also this country just seems to have led the global idiocy once again, that the main focus is the events that happen within the United States. Now, the show does take on other countries and their behaviors, but the main focus always seems to circle back to America. This is about an hour long, and I think it goes on just a bit too long. In this case, a little goes a long way, and as the show progressed, it began to be less funny, almost stretching for the tiniest comedy nugget. And that's not to say that I just stopped laughing halfway through, because I didn't. I still found elements humorous throughout, but the jokes began to feel a little forced the longer that the show played out. The performances are still really wonderful, with some being absolutely cringe-inducing at how they're able to capture certain mindsets or even personalities of those that they're spoofing. Tracy Ullman and Kristen Milioti were two of the standouts for me, but both Stockard Channing and Lucy Liu brought some great zingers as well. The thing I appreciate about this show is that it pokes a lot of fun and hits the nail on the head more often than not. Now sure, it could go even deeper into the satire, but for the time it has, we get a good highlight view. Obviously, a big focus of this story is the pandemic, but climate change, politics, social media, and billionaires going to space in giant phalluses are also covered, most in hilarious detail. I do think there are some jokes that are trying too hard to land, attempting to force the comedy by bringing out the obvious. But when these happen, the lack of nuance almost has the reverse effect and makes me groan rather than laugh, even if that laughter could have been an uncomfortable type. I like Hugh Grant's character in this, but sometimes his jokes come across as unnaturally delivered. And I loved the satire on the anti-woke sentiments that he provides, but I think they could have been conceived and then delivered in funnier and more pointed ways. Well, I think it's difficult for a show to take all of the events of a year and condense them into an hour-long comedy segment. The highlights, or rather lowlights, of this year are hit upon and for the most part are funny and engaging. Some gags run on too long, and the show as a whole begins to feel weaker in its humor the more that it progresses, but it's still a fun watch overall and can elicit some good laughs. I also understand, though, that we all just lived through this year, so it may be just a bit too soon to want to recap it, even if it is to poke fun at all the insanity. There's no sex or nudity, but there is a ton of profanity and some violence. I give Death to 2021 3.5 out of 5 couches. What are you looking forward to most in 2022? Or are maybe you just looking to just get through it with minimal drama? Wouldn't that be nice? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.